All right, thank you. We will call the meeting to order this morning at 9:00 a.m. In the true spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge all those who call this land home now and for thousands of years in the past. May we respect each other and find understanding together and recognize the benefits that this land provides to all of us. Just a couple of notes before we get moving. First off, the public hearing for Bylaw 25-021, road closure, sale, and consolidation, a portion of Pothole Creek Road, will not proceed today because of a court order. So when we get down to our agenda, we will amend our agenda accordingly. And then also, we have a few introductions this morning. So I will throw to Cole, if you'd like to.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So first, I'd like to introduce Patrick Lister, our new Manager of Finance and Admin / Controller. So Patrick comes to us most recently from the U of L as a, I already forgot, financial officer is official title. He's got both his accounting designation as well as municipal experience, and we're really excited to have him on the team. So he'll be working very closely with all of the teams as we move into budget, and I think you guys will see a lot more of him this fall. So welcome, Patrick, and I'll let Devin introduce Kaylin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to introduce Kaylin Franklin at the end of the table here. She joined us Tuesday of this week, and very excited to have her aboard. She's got a lot of experience in the both private and public sector when it comes to planning and development. And just like Patrick, you'll be seeing a lot of Kaylin in future council meetings. So welcome, Kaylin.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. Anything else, Cole?
No, I think we can move through the rest of the agenda.
Okay, we have a couple of time commitments today. We do have a 9:05 close, so once we get things approved here, we'll move into our first closed session. We'll go in there for an item for ATIA Section 32, privilege information. We'll then come back out and continue with our public meeting and go in later as we usually do. And then our other time commitment will be our one public hearing for today at 10 a.m. for Bylaw 25-018. So with that, before you have an agenda, noting the one change to the removal of the public hearing, I would look for a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Lauren.
I would move that the agenda be approved as amended.
Thank you, Lauren. Is there any discussion? I'll call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. For you, you have the County Council meeting minutes of August 14th, 2025. Are there any errors, omissions, any issues arising from the minutes? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move to adopt the minutes as presented.
Thank you, John. John has moved to approve the County Council meeting minutes of August 14th, 2025 as presented. Any discussion? Call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And with that, then why don't we move down, as I said earlier, to our closed session. Item I-1, Delegation 905, Reynolds, Mirth, Richards, and Farmer, ATIA Section 32, privileged information. Lauren?
I would move to go into a closed session.
Lauren has moved to enter a closed session at 9:06 a.m. this morning. Is there any discussion? If not, call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? you. We will call our public meeting back to order at 10:08 a.m. this morning. We'll move on our agenda to item E, public hearings. I'm just going to reiterate what I said off the beginning of the meeting. The public hearing for Bylaw 25-021, road closure, sale and consolidation, a portion of Pothole Creek Road, will not proceed today because of a court order. So with that and with the agenda, the amended agenda, we have one public hearing for today. Item E1, Bylaw 25-018 to redesignate Plan 1113171, Block 1, Lot 5 in the Northwest 10-1921 West 4 from urban fringe to rural general industrial. With that, I would recess the public meeting. And again, we are here today for the public hearing for Bylaw 25-018. I would ask for a motion to open the public hearing. John?
Thank you. I would like to move that we open the public hearing for Bylaw 25-018.
Thank you, John. John has moved to open the public hearing for Bylaw 25-018. Public meeting back to order at 10:08 a.m. this morning. Move our agenda. Sorry. Nobody wants to hear that. Sorry, John has moved to open the public hearing for Bylaw 25-018. Is there any discussion? If not, I'll call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. The public hearing is being held pursuant to the Municipal Government Act as amended. Public hearing is being live streamed via the county's YouTube page. Public hearing for Bylaw 25-018 is now officially open. I'll now ask for a review of the nature of the hearing and an overview of what is being proposed. Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Reeve. This public hearing is to deal with application to redesignate a portion of the Northwest 10-9-21 west of the 4th, which is in particular Plan 1113171, Block 1, Lot 5, from urban fringe to rural general industrial. This is a portion of land that's just east of 43rd Street that will encompass the land up to Township Road 92. The applicant wishes to redesignate the lands to allow for the future subdivision and development of industrial development on the subject parcel. This land has been identified and planned for industrial development and future subdivision in accordance with the Chinook Industrial Area Structure Plan, Bylaw 23-008, that Council approved. As part of this proposal, when subdivided, eventually the applicant desires to keep the large parcel to the north for their own business interests as part of this last phase. This is a parcel that Council should be well familiar with, just north of Rave and the Chinook Industrial Park there on the east side of the city, on the immediate east side of 43rd Street, which has been long planned for to accommodate industrial growth within the county. So as part of the application and the public hearing, the application itself had been circulated to all county departments and external agencies for review, as well as the city of Lethbridge, as the land is within the Lethbridge County and City of Lethbridge IDP boundary area. Back, and as was presented at first reading to council, City of Lethbridge has no concerns with or objections to the proposal, as it aligns with the IDP and the area structure plan that was approved for the land, and as well as some of the utility companies responded that they had no concerns either, such as Taliesin Fortis. SRMAD did submit a letter of concern, which I'll speak to in a minute. As part of the overall review of the application that county administration and myself conducted, the proposed bylaw does align with the industrial and commercial land use strategy of the county, in particular policy 5.301, as well as the municipal development plan, in particular policy 10.21, that provides the criteria for the approval of commercial industrial land use zoning. Some of the main elements being adjacent to a road network to accommodate the traffic, access to the provision or be able to provide the service and utilities necessary, that the stormwater drainage and runoff can be managed, and that it's being located in an improved industrial business park, which, as mentioned, this is part of the Chinook industrial area. The application is deemed suitable with a number of criteria looked at, with the main access going out to 43rd Street there, which can accommodate the heavy traffic. Lands are located adjacent to the city, and future development would have access to the municipal water, and private wastewater systems would be utilized as part of the development. Some of the aspects dealing with the drainage and grading will be addressed through the development permit stage and the subsequent development agreement with Lethbridge County. The area structure plan, and then subsequent for this rezoning applications, the applicant's consulting engineers, ISL Engineering, who are here today on behalf of the proponents, have provided support information and engineering details to the county of how the development would work. So overall, the application is deemed to be in compliance with the area structure plan adopted and the IDP with the City of Lethbridge. One of the items that was raised at the first reading of the bylaw was that there was some concerns raised by SMRID in regards to having a stormwater pond adjacent to the canal there. Subsequent to first reading, the consulting engineers have met with the SMRID. They have put together some more detailed engineering information for the county and how they would address that. It's particularly with the seepage and the stability of the pond itself in that area. Those aspects are our operational aspects that will be dealt with and addressed through the subsequent development stages and the development agreement entered into with the county. And with those technical aspects, they do not affect in so much the redesignation of land process, which is before council today. And if you have any questions on that, the applicant and engineers are here, as well as Devin Kamirihatz. Any questions if you have any on that. For the public hearing and the bylaw itself, the notice of public hearing was advertised in the August 19th and 26th editions of the Sunny South News and on the county's website and social media accounts, as well as notices were also sent out to the adjacent landowners. So, in summary of looking at the policies applicable to the application in front of you, and previous steps that have occurred, the redesignation application for bylaw 25-018 did receive first reading on June 19th, 2025 by County Council. Overall, the rezoning complies with the Chinook Industrial Area Structure Plan, which is bylaw 23-008. And as mentioned, the land is within the City of Lethbridge and County Intermunicipal Development Plan boundary, which identified this as a future industrial growth area for Lethbridge County. And with the adoption of the ASP, the proposal as presented does comply with the applicable policies of the IDP. So with that, I don't know if there's any questions on the application in front of you. If not, turn it back to you and council.
Those making presentations are asked to state their name and review their points. We ask that you refrain from asking questions to council. The intention of the public hearing is not to debate or defend the contents of the bylaw or the position which individual councillors may have on the bylaw. Questions asked of a councillor by a presenter may be ruled out of order. Presentations to council will start with the applicant who has made a submission, followed by any other persons wishing to comment on the proposal. Please keep your comments to the point. After each speaker, members of council will be permitted to ask questions of the presenter to clarify any details. No debating or questions from the floor will be allowed. Each speaker will be allotted up to 10 minutes. Additional time may be granted at the discretion of council. With that, I would ask if the applicant who has made the submission requests to speak at this time. Good morning.
Good morning. Reeve Campbell and members of council. My name is Sue Payton. We have, actually, there's a PowerPoint that was loaded. There we go. Can I just click on this to? Yeah. Okay. My name is Sue Payton. I'm a planner with ISL Engineering, and I'm here today with Mr. Jason Carter from Rocky Mountain Equipment. We just have a quick overview of the project here. Oops. Oh, scroll down. Oops. No. Oh, here we go. Got it. Okay. Just quickly, who we are. Rocky Mountain Equipment is a consolidator of agriculture and construction equipment dealerships, employing over 1,000 people directly and serving tens of thousands more customers and their employees. Operating 43 CNH dealerships across the prairies, RME is committed to providing their equipment partners with a reliable and consistent experience through each customer interaction. RME becomes part of the community by supporting organizations and community groups to give back to those who contribute to the strengthening of the agricultural and construction industry. Oops. Briefly why we're here. The RME site is within the Chinook Industrial Park Area Structure Plan, and is proposed to accommodate flex industrial and stormwater management facilities as identified in the area structure plan. The proposed development includes a site for a new RME dealership and residual lands to be subdivided for future industrial uses. The proposed land use district is rural general industrial. The RMA dealership will be located at the north end of the subject parcel, as shown in the solid purple parcel on this plan. And there will be future industrial development proposed south, which is the crosshatched area. The future industrial will be south of 18th Avenue and the main access off of 43rd. A redesignation from urban fringe district to rural general industrial district will be required to have this move forward. And just briefly on the questions about the stormwater management, this was the concept that was in the original application. During circulation of the land use application, there were some concerns raised by St. Mary's River Irrigation District with respect to the conceptual plan accompanying the application and the design and location of the stormwater pond. As the land use application is not intended to approve specific details of the plan and simply meant to rezone the land to rural general industrial, the pond design is not part of the bylaw being presented today. As it's one of the technical components that's part of a DP application. The pond is currently part of a phase 1 development permit application that's being reviewed by the county and the SMRID. And I know there's a meeting set up next week where they're bringing forward the next phases of development to show the entire parcel and the details for the RM1 dealership. So that is being discussed in partnership with the county engineers, our engineers, and the SMRID. So those details are being worked out as we speak. And basically, as the application, as Steve has pointed out, conforms to current county policy direction, we're respectfully requesting approval of the second and third readings for Bylaw 25018. And we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Doesn't look like you have any questions, so thank you very much. Oh,
Okay.
go ahead, Lauren.
Sorry. Thank you. Just wondered, the future ag development area, is that part of your purchasing block, or is that different zoning from yours?
It would be the same zoning. but it would be smaller parcels. The larger parcel, the solid parcel, is what would be used for the actual RME dealership. And then the residual lands, which weren't required for the dealership, will be subdivided into the appropriately sized lots for future industrial. But it's all, the entire area would be the industrial district, which allows for the industrial uses as well as the stormwater management.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would ask if there's anyone else wishing to speak to the proposed bylaw. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to the proposed bylaw? And for a third and final time, I would ask if there's anyone wishing to speak to the proposed bylaw. If there's nothing further, I would ask for a motion to close the public hearing. Morse? Morse has moved to close the public hearing for bylaw 25-018. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. With that, I would call for the resumption of our public meeting. Is there anything further you wanted to add, Steve?
Nothing further, Reeve Campbell, but just to summarize here the next steps for council. After the conclusion of the public hearing here and the information you've taken in, it is the recommendation that council give bylaw 25-018 second and third reading. The reasons for that recommendation is that the proposed rezoning will enable the future subdivision of the area for industrial purposes and allow the further development of the Chinook Industrial Area Structure Plan as approved by council. As well as the alternatives for council is you may refuse second reading of the bylaw 25-018, which then would the rezoning not proceed. There's no pros identified on to that of what the purpose would be for that. On the negative side, a refusal would limit growth of industrial development in the county, and it would be contrary to the intent of adopting the Chinook Industrial Area Structure Plan, bylaw 23-008, which laid out the framework for future industrial growth of this area. It's also for council's information that due to financial impacts, that if the bylaw were approved, any future development would be taxed at the county's industrial tax rate. As part of the development process ongoing, a development agreement at the development stage and subdivision stages would be entered in with Lethbridge County to address the servicing matters and road construction and that type of thing, and the obligations on the developer at that end. So with that, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Ask council, do you have any questions at this time? If not, how would you like to proceed? Mark?
I'd move that bylaw 25-018 be read a second time.
Thank you, Mark. Mark has moved that bylaw 25-018 be read for a second time. Is there any discussion? I'll call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Oh, sorry, Lauren, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I would move that bylaw 25-018 be read for a third time.
Thank you, Lauren. Lauren has moved that bylaw 25-018, struggling today, 25-018 be read for a third time. Is there any discussion? Call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you, Steve. Okay, that takes us to the end of our public hearings. Why don't we move back up in our agendas to our subdivision applications. We have one subdivision application for today. D1 subdivision application 2025-0-120, McCutcheon.
All right.
Hi, Steve.
Thank you, Reeve Campbell. This one application for subdivision in front of council today, acting as the subdivision authority. is an application to enable a property line adjustment, a reconfiguration between two adjacent parcels by subdividing a 0.49 acre portion of land from a title comprised of 38.04 acres, and then consolidating it to an adjacent 4.25 acre country residential title, which would enlarge it to 4.74 acres in size in the end for the country residential use. This is a parcel of land that council may be familiar with because we dealt with earlier in the year for subdividing a parcel just on the north side of this. The land is located about 2.5 miles east of the city Lethbridge boundary and half a mile west of Highway 4 and half a mile north of Highway 508. This proposal is to enable a land swap between the remnant land back of that previous subdivision that council dealt with, and adding this small triangle portion to the yard area. Basically involves extending the smaller yard's title's north boundary and shooting it straight west out to the SMRAD canal right away to encompass that area of land. This small triangle portion of land to be added to the acreage contains some trees on the east end, but is otherwise grass with no improvements. The intent is that the acreage owner just desires to use this area as part of their yard, and there's been a bit of a odd corner on the other parcel that the owner doesn't really utilize this area of land. So the two owners have made agreement in order to facilitate this land swap process. Both the lots involved are adjacent to the west of Municipal Road Allowance, Range Road 20-5. There will be no existing services will be affected by the boundary adjustment. No septic systems will be impacted by it or encroach as a result of the property line adjustment. As well, for these two existing yards in this area, there's no environmental, abandoned gas wells, historical implications or situations present that would prevent the subdivision from going forward. One of the things on approval that would need to be addressed is an adjustment on a municipal reserve. When the original smaller 4.25 acre lot was subdivided years back, they paid their municipal reserve on that portion. On this larger parent title, the 38.04 acre title that this triangle piece is the 0.49 is coming out of, that has an existing deferred reserve registered on title, which meant that the reserve wasn't taking on the larger part. It's owing in the future if there's a future subdivision. So one of the conditions of approval would be is that we would do an adjustment and they would pay that 0.49 acres. So when it gets added to the acreage title, that's all cohesive and clear, and an adjustment would be made on the remnant to remove that 0.49 acre portion away from the title so that it reflects the actual amount that would be in the resulting title. So it'd be a little adjustment made. With holidays and that sort of a thing, we were able to receive a reserve value on that. When the previous subdivision was done for the yard to the north earlier in the year, that value came in at $17,000 per acre. So I suspect to be somewhere in that neighborhood. Again, on a small portion of the 0.41 acres, and then just having to provide 10% of that. That would equate to, it'd roughly be around $800 or so. That would be the adjustment on that. So it's not a great amount, but it would clarify the reserve situation between the two to get that cleared up and adjusted between the two. So with that, the application does conform to your subdivision criteria for a property line adjustment or reconfiguration of two adjacent titles. The realignment reconfiguration of titles policy enables property boundaries to be realigned based on rationale of land use between the properties. In this situation as well, there's no standalone separate title created. We're just adjusting between the two existing ones that are there. So with that, since the application came out on your agenda, we did receive comments back from ATCO, TALUS, and SMRAD. The two utility companies and SMRAD have no concerns or objections to the proposal. The utility companies do not require any easements. So on that basis, the recommendation in front of you is to approve the application. And it would be on the basis of that municipal reserve adjustment being made, then the standard conditions of taxes being paid up to date, a development agreement entered into if required. A final plan of survey would need to consolidate that area as approved in order to consolidate the land. So with those conditions and it complying with the bylaw, the recommendation is to approve as presented.
I would open up to council for any questions you might have. John?
No questions. Seems like a fairly straightforward, just a realignment of the parcel. So I would like to move that subdivision application 2025-0-120 be approved subject to the conditions as outlined in the draft resolution.
Thank you, John. John has moved the subdivision application 2025-0-120 be approved subject to the conditions as outlined in the draft resolution. Is there any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Thank you, Steve. Moving down in our agendas, item F, Department Reports, F1 Corporate Services, F1.1, Tax Penalty Reduction Request Rolls 71220300, 15690, 100, and 15700.
Good morning, Council. We received a request for a reduction of penalties applied to those roll numbers, so 71220300, 15690, and 15700. We received an email on August 21st from Lean Roman, the accounts payable for Cando Rail and Terminals, requesting a reduction in the tax penalty amounts. The tax payment for July 31st was not made, and it was received on August 15th, which was 15 days past the due date. The taxpayer explained that the delay was in result of an office relocation that occurred on March 24th, 2025. They also noted that the payment was made in full before the issuance of the tax reminder notice, which they received on September 6th. In light of these circumstances, they have requested that you consider a reduction in the penalty from $8,929.20 to $2,232.30. Historically, council does not waive penalties or reductions. However, you do have that option should you choose. Our recommendation is that council not reduce the tax penalties as requested for those roll numbers. We recommend that because the penalties have been levied per the tax penalty bylaw 1273, and waiving or reducing penalties could set precedent for future requests of similar nature. Back
Thank
to
you,
you.
Candace. Any questions? Go ahead, Lauren.
Mr. Chair, so just Candace, I'm kind of, did they miss a payment in 24? Is that part of the money, or is that interest, or?
I think, no, they missed the payment that was due on July 31st, and then they got the interest added after 31st, and then they paid on August 15th.
Okay.
So they should have paid by July 31st, and they didn't pay until August 15th. So basically, they're asking that they only pay the penalties for those 15 days, is what they're basically asking.
Go ahead, John.
I'm done. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. so didn't mean that to sound rude. I just find it interesting that, they've said that they've moved and they didn't receive it in time, but they've acknowledged that they received the tax penalty notice on September 6th, which seems to be a relatively point in time. Did in that period of time, did they give us a change of address, or was that sent to the same address?
I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that
Yeah.
question. I apologize.
I see no reason why.
I mean, they moved in March, and taxes weren't due until July, so.
Yeah, I see no reason why we should deviate from our past direction and not honor not consider this request.
Would you like to make that recommendation or move that, John?
Do we need to make a recommendation on that, or is it?
I believe
Yes,
we do.
please.
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah, then I would happily move that council not reduce the tax penalties as requested for roll numbers 71220300, 156901000, and 157001000.
Thank you, John. John has moved that council not reduce the tax penalties as requested for roll number 712-20300, 156901000, and 157001000. Is there any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you, Candace.
It's me again. So
F2,
this-
Administration. F2.1, the 2025 Stirling Wind Community Benefit Scholarship Program. Candace.
Yes, so back in 2023, the county was contacted by Potentia Renewables regarding funding option or possibilities through the Stirling Wind Project. The program was developed as part of their community relations and commitment and provides contributions back to the communities in which they have their wind turbines. As per the agreement, council approved the agreement on September 21st, 2023. And a part of that agreement, a scholarship is awarded with a maximum of $2,000 per scholarship, or an annual maximum of $4,000. So the application deadline for 2025 was July 31st. We received 13 applications. Potentia reviewed all of their applications that we received and came back with 2 recommendations. They recommended that Sharice Overeem and Kobe Urasaki each receive $2,000 under this specific program. Throw back to you for any questions.
Thank you, Candace. Any questions, council?
Just thank you, Mr. How did we come up with the 2 names again? I kind of lost in that.
So, Councillor Zeemstra, through the chair, for this particular one, we receive the applications and then we send the applications to Potentia Renewables. Potentia Renewables reviews all the applications and then they give us their recommendations. Having said that, council can change their recommendation if they so choose, but those are the 2 that they have chosen that meet the criteria and that they have selected.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Any other questions? Go ahead, John.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that County Council approve the Stirling Wind Project Community Benefit Scholarship Program funds in the amount of $4,000 to the following recipients. Therese
I think so.
Overeem and Kobe Urasaki.
Thank you, John. John has moved the recommendation that County Council approve the Stirling Wind Project Community Benefit Scholarship Program funds in the amount of $4,000 to the following recipients. Sharice Overeem for $2,000 and Kobe Urasaki for $2,000. Is there any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 2025 Bursary Awards, F2.2.
Does anyone from the Bursary Committee want to come and join me and present this? Yeah, sure.
I don't mind sitting beside you, it's okay. It was actually, Kevin was on, it was Kevin, Lauren, and I that were on the committee. John didn't get railroaded 2 years ago. He wasn't here, so that's how he got back on the committee. But And we all really enjoy doing it. We got a lot of good applications again this year, and that's a positive thing. We still get some that are from towns that they're in the county, but they're not part of the county, so it's clarifying that. Haley was her first year working with us, so Lauren and I sat down with Haley and we went through, and Kevin had gone through his and had his list too, so when we submitted it, or came up with our numbers, or the names, we forwarded it to Kevin just to check, and I think we were pretty close to what we had. So these were the three names that rose to the top, and the ones that we were recommending to collect the scholarship. So Lauren, do you have anything to?
No, just, I think, I don't know how you emphasize to people that only people who live in the county are eligible. I think that's important to get that across again. I don't know.
So I will make a note that after the committee met, there was a request to administration to review the policy and incorporate some updated criteria and some wording. So we will bring back a revised draft to that at an upcoming council meeting here.
Great.
Anything else?
Make the motion.
Mark?
I'd
Sorry, go ahead.
I move that the county council award the 2025 bursary in the amount of $1,500 each to be presented at the county council meeting on September 18th to the following recipients: Anna Campmans, Ava Akubo, and Ethan Honus.
Thank you, Mark. Mark has moved the recommendation the county council award the 2025 bursary in the amount of $1,500 each to be presented at the county council meeting on September 18th, 2025 to the following recipients: Anna Campmans, Ava Okubo, and Ethan Honus. Is there any further discussion? Call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried.
I
Thank
will
you.
also invite the Potentia winners to join us if they can as well. But
Okay. Thank you to the committee for that. Thank you, Candace. And F2.3, the Shaughnessy Community Association request for letter of support. Candace?
the Shaughnessy Community Association is applying through funding through the New Horizon for Seniors program to enhance the functionality and accessibility of their community hall. The proposed upgrades include installation of air conditioning in the gymnasium and a purchase of a battery-operated floor scrubber. The Shaughnessy Community Hall, which is the former Shaughnessy School, is a 73-year-old building and serves as the central gathering space for their community. The gymnasium is used regularly for senior pickleball, volleyball, weekend jam sessions, dancing, and larger community events such as weddings, family reunions, and annual fundraisers. During the summer months, high temperatures make it uncomfortable for participants and impacting this accessibility and enjoyment for the programs and events that are taking place there. The hall is maintained primarily by senior volunteers who currently rely on traditional mop and bucket cleaning methods. Given the size of the facility, which includes 5 large classrooms, hallways, and entryway, the gymnasium, the battery-operated floor washer would significantly reduce the manual labor for the seniors who are volunteering to clean. A letter of support would be no financial impact to the county. There is a draft letter of support attached for your review. Back to you.
Thank you, Candace.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions or comments on the Shaughnessy Community Association request for letter of support? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's very important for us as council for the county to continue to support these small community organizations because they, as noted and as Candace said, it is the heartbeat of the community, and given that it is run by volunteers, it's important to make sure that that we show our appreciation for their efforts as well. So in that regard, I'd like to move that Lethbridge County Council provide a letter of support for the Shaughnessy Community Association grant application to the New Horizons Senior Program for the installation of air conditioning in the gym and purchasing of a new floor scrubber.
Thank you, John. John has moved the recommendation that Lethbridge County Council provide a letter of support for the Shaughnessy Community Association's grant application to the New Horizon for Seniors program for the installation of air conditioning in the gymnasium and the purchase of a new floor scrubber. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Morris.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, the only thing I kind of forgot again. Man, I started to forget a lot of stuff. I wish I could forget more stuff. But anyways, what kind of money were you looking at altogether? I thought it was quite a bit, wasn't it?
I don't, she didn't tell me what the total grant amount would be.
You know, but it's a great thing pursuing that makes that much better facility to use.
Especially when you go in to play pickleball, right?
Seems to happen.
So any further discussion? So John has made that motion to support, to provide the letter of support. Any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you, Candace. Correspondence. We have 4 items of correspondence. Before you, first off, you have the Chinook Arch Board Report from August of 2025 for your viewing pleasures. Second is the Town of Colehurst Notice of Intent to Annex. So before you, you have a letter addressed to the Reeve of the county pursuant to the Municipal Government Act, revised statutes of the Alberta 2000, Chapter M26, Section 116. Notice is hereby given of the intent of the Town of Colehurst to proceed with an application to annex land from Lethbridge County. By copy of this letter and attached information, all required and affected authorities have been notified as per the Municipal Government Act. Cole, is there anything you wanted to add on this?
Not at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so that serves as notice. Moving down, item 3, the Coldell Public Library. You have the calendar for September and October for the Coldell Public Library. And moving down, item 4, honoring Traditions and Reconciliation Society. It is with excitement we write to you about the opportunity to become a sponsor for the 3rd annual Honoring Traditions and Reconciliation events taking place from September 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, 25 in a variety of Lethbridge locations. In addition to the powwow, we have added other exciting events to the weekend of September 10th to 14th. In efforts to promote reconciliation, we are partnering with the Allied Arts Council of Lethbridge, CASA, to host an Indigenous fashion show and princess pageant on Wednesday, September 10th. In addition to these events, we're also hosting a run walk on September 14th. Finally, a one-day conference to bring Indigenous awareness and learning for all will be held on Friday, September 12th. The timely initiative is held in advance of National Day for Truth and Reconciliation and Orange Shirt Day on September 30th. So before you, you have all of that scheduled. And yeah, those are the 4 items of correspondence for today. Is there anything you'd like to discuss further? If not, I believe that takes us down to item I, our closed session item. We have 2 items remaining. We have item 2, Chinook Chinook Intermunicipal Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, Board Appointments, ATIA Section 22, Confidential Evaluations, and item 3, CAO Report, ATIA Section 19, 20, 28, and 29. Is there anything else for the public portion of our meeting? If not, I would entertain a motion to enter a closed session. Mark? Sorry, Kevin, I'll get you one of these times. I sit crooked.
I move that we go into closed session.
We will move, Mark has moved to enter a closed session at 10:51 a.m. this morning. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? The end of our meeting today. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, I would move that the county council appoint 2 people to serve as Lethbridge County representatives on the Chinook Intermunicipal Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, effective immediately, and that is Roxanne Adams, Heidi Bellman, and then Everett Vanessa.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there any further discussion? Huh? Everett's just staying on, right?
Yes.
Any discussion? Call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, sorry. Now, Morris?
Yes.
What would you like to be, Morris?
Are you okay with that?
Morris has moved to adjourn at 11:56 a.m. this morning. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor?